What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Nemo Propaganda here. So every now and then I'll get a comment on one of my videos, someone asking me, hey man, can you make a video where you just shout out all the best low volume performing speakers? And I always say, maybe one day in the future I will. And it's been a while now, I've been getting this request. I'm like, you know what? It's time we make this video. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that love listening at lower volumes, whether it's just your preference or you live in a house with a baby that's sleeping or you've got neighbors or whatever the reason might be. You need a speaker that can just give you good detail at low volumes and still sound open and airy at low volumes and things like that, right? Because most speakers, let's be honest, most speakers, you want the best sound, you got to dig into that volume knob. Not the ones on this list today. Guys, I've got 15 speakers for you. Let's jump into it. This list is only in order of price. If something is a just exceptionally good low volume performer, I'll definitely mention it. But these speakers are not equal by any means. There's really big price disparities here. But let's start with the cheapest and just move our way down the list to the more expensive stuff. So the most affordable, the cheapest low volume speaker on my list, coming in at $89 a pair, is the Mica MB42X, sold on Amazon. Look, this is not a tonally balanced speaker. It's not the best at anything. It's a really, really cheap speaker, guys. So manage your expectations, but it does sound clean, clear, and open at lower volumes. Mainly because the treble is very hot and spicy. To my ears, it sounds like it's hot plus 6 dB or so, but it's going to be decent at lower volumes. Moving up the list, if you've got a little bit more money, I strongly recommend you step up to something like the Sony SSCS5 at about $150 for the pair. This is going to be a much more neutral presentation. And well, here's the funny thing. The Mica MB42X and the Sony SSCS5, they can't even play loud. They're too affordable, right? The woofers just can't take much power. So low volume is actually your only option. But the Sony SSCS5 for 50 bucks more is going to give you considerably better sound quality, a much more balanced sound overall, better bass, a more effortless presentation in those low volumes, and is just going to be a very competent performer for that small amount of money. Very respectable. Next, if you got a little bit more money, the Klipsch R50M at about $299 a pair. I know the MSRP on those is closer to $400 a pair, but guys, Klipsch puts these things on sale many times a year, very frequently. So I actually bought my pair for $279. Before filming this review, I checked Amazon. They were $299 a pair. So I'm going to call it a $299 a pair speaker. The Klipsch R50M, great performer. This is where the big difference from the Sony SSCS5 or the Mica MB42X is going to be the Klipsch R50M can play loud. You don't have to only listen at low volumes. So if you want something that you can rock out to occasionally, but you have a taste for low volume performance, the Klipsch R50M is going to get both done. Next, a little bit more money, the Project Speaker Box 5 at $349 a pair. You're getting a painted cabinet at this price, if you can believe that. And this is going to be another great low volume performer. And just so we're clear, guys, none of these speakers really have a ton of bass. That's to be expected. Most low volume performers are not going to be bass monsters. But I will say the Sony SSCS5 has respectable bass at lower volumes. The Project Speaker Box 5, not much at all. You're definitely going to want to use a subwoofer if you can. At the same price, and this is where we actually get a lot better bass, is going to be the Triangle Borea Bro 3 or BR03. You know what I'm talking about, guys. $349 for the pair. This is going to be bigger than the other speakers on the list, but it's not a large bookshelf speaker by any means. The Triangle Borea Bro 3 at $349 a pair. So far on the list, this is going to be the best low volume performer. The Borea Bro 3 is a standout low volume performer. Remember at the beginning of the video, I told you if something was exceptionally good at low volume, not just great, but like absolutely awesome, I would let you know. I'm letting you know. The Borea Bro 3, absolutely phenomenal low volume performer and is going to give you good bass also, which is very rare for a low volume champion. What else do we have? Moving down the list, again, price is going up more. Now we're at $600 for the pair. Dolly Oberon 1. This is a very small speaker. I'd call it a micro speaker, if you will. It's going to have sharp treble. It's definitely on the forward side of neutral. And if you turn up the volume, it might be too much for most people, but at low volumes, it's going to give you a lot of openness and clarity. Standout feature on the Dolly Oberon 1 is going to be bass tone and texture. Dolly did a really good job giving that speaker nice bass tone and texture. What do we have next? This is a discontinued speaker, but it does have a current version. The Focal Cora 806 at $998. The current version of that is called the Thiva #1. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm willing to bet it's damn near the same. That was a very competent low volume performer, very clear, very open. I owned that speaker for quite a while and was very happy with it. So that's another great option. So this next one's actually very unique, very unique. So far, all these speakers I mentioned for the most part are going to tend to be on the forward side of neutral in the treble region. Mostly easy to drive stuff. What I've found is easy to drive speakers tend to be low volume champions. This next speaker is not forward in the treble, nor is it easy to drive, but in some ways it is a low volume champion. Stay with me. And that's going to be Thomas & Stereo's TS Voyager transmission line. It's a low volume champion in terms of what it does in the mid range. Its treble is always going to be warm and it has incredibly strong bass. I'll put reviews for all these speakers in the description below, guys, if you want to see the dedicated reviews. The Gallione TS Voyager transmission line is a low volume champion because of how sweet, open, natural, and realistic that mid-range sounds, especially at low volumes. You can get that speaker to play loud too. It's not gonna want to play crazy loud. It is a small driver, but really, really sweet mid-range out of that thing at low volumes. Very nice. So the TS Voyager transmission line is the only warm speaker on the list that I consider a low volume champion. So if that's what you're looking for, there you go. Next, a little bit more money. Now we're at $1,400 for the pair. The Zoo DWX. Oh my goodness. Listen. This speaker's fantastic. What you get for $1,400 doesn't even make sense. Beautifully finished wood cabinet, large 10-inch, damn near full range driver. The speaker sounds so effortless no matter what volume you're at. Great open, expansive mid-range. Really good clarity and detail in the treble region. The only thing, they are large bookshelf speakers, guys. But at $1,400 a pair, wow. Lots of value with the Zoo DWX. And I'm going to go ahead and say the Zoo DWX is going to be a standout low volume performer like the Triangle Borea Bro 3. Obviously, the Zoo DWX is a lot better than the Triangle Borea Bro 3. It costs more. It's larger. It costs more for a reason, guys. Let's keep going down this list. Let's say you're like, dude, Zoo DWXs are huge. I need something smaller. Matter of fact, I need something tiny. $2,000 for the pair. The Mon Acoustic Super Mon Mini. This is another micro speaker, very, very small speaker. It's going to offer up a tremendous amount of clarity, air detail, and separation while sounding extremely natural in the mid-range. It comes with the aluminum, it's an all-metal cabinet, and it's not cheap for a micro speaker, but I'm going to go ahead and say it's one of the best, if not the best micro speaker I've ever heard. How good? I bought the review sample. I use them every day upstairs in my living room. That's my casual system where I watch excuse me, Netflix, I watch Crunchyroll on there, I watch movies on there, I play video games up there, all that stuff. The Super Mon Mini is the best micro speaker for a low volume performance, guys. Moving up a couple $100 more, $2,200 for the pair. Now, this is another discontinued speaker that has a replacement. The Focal Aria 906, $2,200 a pair. The new version is called the Aria Evo X #1. I have not heard that new version, but guys, I'm willing to bet it's pretty similar. I'll try to get my hands on a review sample at some point. Focal doesn't like me too much. They don't send me review samples, but I'll try to see if I can get one from one of the dealers that are pretty cool. Really, really good low volume performance, guys. Focal, in my experience, all their speakers are low volume champions. Moving up in price just a little bit more. $2,500 for the pair. The Triangle Comet 40th anniversary, the most beautiful wood finish I've ever seen in a speaker in and around that price. It just build quality is just so nice on that speaker. Absolute low volume performer. Triangle, if you notice, they've been on the list twice. It seems to be their thing. But again, yeah, that is fantastic. And I mean, there's a lot of great speakers around that $2,000 price point, like the R3 Meta, the Bucard S400 Mark II, the Dynaudio Evoke 20. But I wouldn't call those low volume champions. Whereas that Triangle Comet 40th anniversary, I mean, it is open, airy, great separation, good clarity, dynamic, all at low volumes. What else do we have on this list? You got a little bit more money in your pocket, $2,800 for the pair. Fritz Carbons. The Fritz Carbon 7, guys, that's one speaker to this day I regret sending it back after the review period. You guys, as a reviewer, I cannot buy every review sample that comes my way, and my channel is way too small to get freebies. It is so rare that a manufacturer lets me keep a product, and if they do, it's like generally something like really inexpensive, you know. I wanted to buy that pair of Fritz Carbon 7 so bad, but I got to be financially responsible, guys. I can't buy everything I love. Absolute low volume performer, standout low volume performer, among the best low volume performers I've ever heard. Absolutely fantastic. Fritz knocked it out of the park. And just so we're clear, the Fritz Carbon 7, no problem at loud volumes. That Zoo DWX, no problem at loud volumes. The Focal speakers I mentioned, no problem at loud volumes. But that Fritz Carbon 7, big low volume champion. Really nice speaker. Really nice. Next on the list, we're moving up in price a lot now. We're entering like high-end price, in my opinion. $8,000 a pair if you're in the US. Focal Kenta #1. Absolute low volume champion, but I don't recommend it at all. I don't recommend you buy that, and here's why. The next low volume champion on the list is also $8,000 a pair and better, in my opinion, and that's the Monacoustics Platamon. And if you've noticed, Monacoustics has made the list more than once as well. So the Monacoustics Platamon, $8,000 a pair. It's not cheap, I know that. At that price, they do come with stands, or you can get them for $6,000 for the pair without the stands. So that brings the price down considerably, I'd say. Absolute low volume performer, or a high volume performer. Doesn't matter what volume you want to play those things at. It is an absolute standout. So that's the whole list. Let me recap it real quick. Let me tell you the speakers that are the best low volume performers out of all of these. Triangle Bro 3. Any of the Focal options except the Kenta, just because the US price doesn't make sense. Guys, the Kenta #1 in Europe is like $5,500. That's a much better price for it. But here in the US, it ain't priced right, in my opinion. I can't recommend it. Let me start over. Sorry. Where was I? Triangle Buria Bro 3. Focal Cora, or now it's called the Theva. Zoo DWX. Monacoustic Supermon Mini. Focal Aria or the new Aria Evo X. Guessing on those new ones. Haven't heard them. Triangle Comet 40th. Fritz Carbon 7 and Monacoustics Platamon. Those are the best low volume performers. Let me tell you which ones can play loud also, just to recap, because not all of these like to get loud. Let's see here. The Klipsch R50M can get loud. The Dolly Oberon 1 can get loud for how small they are, but you're not throwing a party with them, okay? The Focal Cora 806 can get loud. The TS Voyager transmission line can play louder, but it's got a really small driver, so again, you wouldn't throw a party with it. The Zoo DWX can probably get the loudest on this list. Low volume, high volume, doesn't matter. Monacoustic Supermon Mini, it can get loud for just, again, how tiny it is, but not really. Fritz Carbon 7 can get plenty loud, and the Monacoustics Platamon can get plenty loud. So, guys, in closing, I'll just say this. Your room and amplifier are also going to be a factor in how good your low volume performance is. Think about it like this, like an amplifier, an integrated amplifier or preamp's volume knob is basically just choking down the output, right? In layman's terms, if you think about it. Like your amps are like, I'm designed to put out X amount of power. and then your preamp is like, let's turn that down. It chokes them, right? So if it doesn't choke them in a good way, you can lose dynamics, you could lose air, you can lose separation. That's why, if you've noticed, those of you that have been doing this hobby for a while and you're lucky enough to have been able to move up the price range quite a bit, a lot of you guys have probably noticed these amplifiers that are above $3,000 generally have better low volume performance than something that's, say, $500. Usually a $500 amp, you got to hit like 80 dB for it to sound open. And if you're around like 70, it doesn't sound very open. It's because of that volume control, but I digress. That was kind of a technical spiel from Nemo Propaganda. I don't usually do that, but that wraps up this video, guys. If you have any questions, this YouTube channel does have a free Discord. Link is in the description. If your question is more on the simple side of things, by all means, feel free to use the YouTube comments section. And until next time, take care.